Built the deck, got the budget, want to learn it, let's get started. What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr War Games, and today I'm going to bring you a test hand video, but I'm also going to go through all of the core components of the Cyber style deck that I profiled for you guys yesterday. Now, with all of that out of the way, smash the like up button, hit the notification bell, and subscribe so I can take you through this video. So we're going to go through the core cards of the deck, and then we're going to dive into two test hands going first and test hands going second to show you the consistency and the power of the deck. So, we'll start off with, of course, the title card being Cyber Dragon. So this is the free summon, and the best thing about this is a card like this, or a card like Cyber Dragon Core, or anything that becomes Cyber Dragon on the board, can very easily out your opponent's extra monster zone or massive machine monster. So if they do have a full negate Appaloosa, you can special summon down Cyber Dragon and go Contact Fuse, which isn't an activated effect, to go into something like a Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. If they have a machine on the board, or you were able to kaiju said machine onto their board, you can go into a Fortress Dragon as well. Then, of course, we are going to look at the most important card in the entire deck, and that is Cyber Dragon Core. So this is your main normal summon. You do have plenty of routes to get to it. You do have Cyber Emergency, which searches it out, and you also have the ability of getting to it off of the back of Cybernetic Horizon. Not to mention that Core then searches you out all of your important spells or traps. Speaking of spells and traps, the one card you can't search but is incredibly important is Machine Dupe, because these all count as Cyber Dragon on the board, and what I mean by that is your Cyber Dragon Core, your Cyber Dragon Hers, and of course your Cyber Dragon Nashta all become Cyber Dragon on the field or in the grave. A Machine Dupe on any of these targets will get you 2 Cyber Dragons from the deck. Whether you use them as 2100 beat sticks or overlay them into Nova and Infinity, they are one of your go-to combos. Off the back of that, all of the cyber spells that we have received that are brand new in the form of Horizon and Realm are incredibly important. Horizon lets you set up your graveyard for your Cyber Dark plays, but it does lock you into only being able to special summon Cyber Dark Horizon locks you into special summoning machines from the extra deck the turn you activate this, and specifically machine cybers as well. Special summon machines from your extra deck. Well, I'll get there eventually. Horizon then allows you to send your dragons, your cybers from deck to grave, and of course your extra deck to the grave to set up your bigger boss plays as well. Realm is the important card because this one allows you to get into the brand new Cyber Dark Chimera, and the Cyber Dark Chimera is then going to enable you to get hold of a Power Bond and give you the ability to banish from the graveyard with Power Bond, and speaking of which, being your most important spell card. Off the back of that, you do have the best card in the structure deck, being Infinite Impermanence, as a staple card that can go through many decks. Now that I explained pretty much the core cards of this deck, we're going to do some test stands. We're going to show you the kind of routes you can make. We're going to show you going first, going second, and what you want to aim for. Now, if you do have the money to upgrade this deck, I do advise looking into stuff like Galaxy Soldier, also Verte, Anaconda, and Dragoon, because the most standard combo in this deck can end you on an Infinity and a Dragoon, not to mention backup protection. However, with this particular budget deck, if you are going to play it list for list or put in some additional upgrades but not include Verte and Dragoon, then the Dragon Buster Lock is still one of your best routes going first, and the OTK is your best route going second. So after a very decent shuffle and a good old cut, our first test hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, this hand may not seem like the absolute broken of the world, but it's still incredibly good, because what you've got here, just with these 2 cards here and the ability to discard any spell or trap, is you have a form of a 1.5 card combo, or technically a 2 card combo, because we didn't get Core. What that is going to ultimately lead you to is that's going to lead you to the ability of setting up your fusion play in the graveyard. You can also, because you've opened up Hers and Machine Dupe, go for the Dragon Buster Lock, which, considering we are going first, is exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to normal summon our Hers, we're going to activate Machine Dupe because it becomes Cyber Dragon on the board, and you're going to special summon out 2 Cyber Dragons from your deck. wherever the second one may be. There we go. Then what you're going to do here is you're going to link off the Hers, most importantly, to put a legal target in the graveyard for your Nova a little bit later on. And because it was normal summoned, it can be linked off into Almirage. You're then going to overlay your Cyber Dragons and go into your Nova. Using the effect of Nova, you're going to detach a material. You could revive Hers if you wanted to. And I did miss the step that when you link off with Hers, you get to add a Cyber Dragon to your hand. So that gives you future plays and it easily gives you discard fodder. There we go. So that's all of your Cyber Dragons out of the deck. You'll then use Nova's effect to detach the material and revive said material. Now, you can bring back the Hers. It doesn't really matter which one you do bring back because ultimately what you're going to do is you're going to want to link these off and you're going to want to go into your link 2, which in theory would be your Verte Anaconda to go into Dragoon. But in this particular build, we're going to go into the Protection Whelp of Destruction Sword and trigger its effect to send the Buster Dragon from your deck to the graveyard. What this will then allow you to do is you can then go up into, or you probably should have gone up to beforehand, into your Infinity to protect this play from being impermed or anything like that. Then what you're going to be able to do here is you're going to be able to activate the Cyber Dark Realm. This will then let you add a Cyber Dark. Now you want to specifically add a Cyber Dark monster that's going to get you somewhere. So you've got two options on here. If you want to set up your graveyard a little bit further, then I would advise adding your Cyber Dark Cannon because you can discard this. And that will then allow you to add a kill, horn, or an edge as it is a machine Cyberdark. So it sets you up for your future plays. Your other option would be to go for Chimera, but Chimera is predominantly going to be there for your go second play. Whereas what we want to do here is we want to add the kill or add the cannon to deck fin a little bit more, get to a kill, horn, or edge, activate the effect of Realm for an additional normal summon, being said kill. Trigger kill's effect as it has been normal summon to target a dragon in the graveyard, which will be the Buster Whelp, and attach it to it. Your opponent is now locked out of the extra deck, and off the back of that, if you really wanted to and you were fearful this is going to die, you can use Infinity's effect to absorb it, just to make Infinity a little bit stronger on 2700, and it still has that one negate. Now, because of the additional cards in our hand, we can set these here, and we've been able to get a negate there, and then we have the ability, should our opponent need to go to battle phase, to attack this. If it would be destroyed by battle, you destroy the Buster Dragon instead. And then in main phase 2, not even if they attempt to go into the extra deck, after they leave their main phase 2, leave the battle phase and go into main phase 2, activate Invasion, target the kill, and then be able to equip it with a dragon or machine from either graveyard. So you bring it back with a Buster Whelp. They've now lost their chance to go into the extra deck, and they're not going to be able to kill this a second turn. You then also have the ability to send one equipped card you control, equip to a machine monster, and destroy one card. So during the end phase, if you really want to, you could go effect to discard the Buster Whelp or get rid of the Buster Whelp and get it to the graveyard. Keep in mind though, if you do keep this, then during your turn you do have the ability, as while this is equipped to a monster, you get to special summon it. So it gives you an additional monster to make higher link climbs, or it does give you additional fodder should you need to. So you do have plays to move around, not to mention you'll have your Cyber Dragon, and then whatever you top deck, you still have plays to go from there. So that's your in-depth first test hand combo. And like I said, the best combo we can end for on our first turn is getting Infinity and the Dragon Buster lock. And then if you're able to back that up with a spell or a trap to help you protect it, revive it, or anything like that, then you're in very good stead. So that was a perfect example for going first. Now we're going to do another test hand going first and see if we can either replicate or get as close to as possible. So again, after another decent shuffle and a good old cut, our test hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, not that bad of a hand because we do have the ability to discard the Buster Dragon. Keeping in mind that when you do use Nashta's effect to do so, you are locked into special summoning machines. So you do need to get to your Link 2 before you do that. And it's a little bit tricky because you need to be able to get Core to the graveyard in a sense, or get the Buster Whelp. So what we're going to do here is you've got a couple of options. You can activate the emergency to add a light machine. Or that can't be normal summon or set, or add a Cyber Dragon monster. So it depends on what you want to go for. The best thing would be Hers because that gives you a search, but ultimately it might even be Cyber Dragon. You just want to kind of get it to the grave. Or ultimately you want to bait out so your Core is going to be free to go through. Because with the Core you're going to use its effect, and this is going to ultimately go, we're just going to go route 1. We're going to try and get the Buster combo, and we're going to go with Realm. Now, this isn't going to be as protected as it was before, because ultimately what you would have liked is any one of these to become a different monster. So then what we need to do is we need to put core in the graveyard, or ultimately you can put core into the graveyard. Maybe let's do emergency first. I'm trying to think if we still need to get busted to the graveyard. This is the tricky part. This is what's sticking us, because we want it to be the discard of the Nashta, but we also want there to be a card in the graveyard to bring core back, which is really annoying. So let me just double check Mr. Seagull. During the battle phase of his cards, type machine monster you control with 2100 or more attack. What a shame. Why is it going to be 2100 or more? I mean, we've got the Buster Lock. That's not an issue. It's just not a very strong Buster Lock, which is what's really, really disappointing on this one. So I suppose ultimately what we want to try and do here is Realm is going to give us a search. Now the search you want it to be, because we're going for the Buster Lock, again can probably be Cannon, just to kind of depth in a little bit more. Ditch the Cannon and go for Edge, Kill or Heal. Admiral Side Driver with different names. Yeah, so then separate effect for the additional normal summon. Now, the thing here is you need to get the Buster Dragon to the graveyard in order to get said additional summon. So you do need to use Nashta's effect to discard the Buster Whelp. Now, there's two options here. Is you could link the core off into the Almirage to give you another layer of protection. Then use Nashta's effect to discard this. But Nashta's not really... because it needs a monster with 2100 attack, so this is where not having a Cyber Dragon comes into play, and ultimately all you're doing is using Nashta as the discard fodder. Then you want to trigger the effect of Realm for an additional normal summon of Edge. Edge will then target a dragon in the graveyard and equip it to it, making it 1200. So you've got the ability of using Emergency should you want to, but there's not really anything you're going to be able to discard or trigger or to do a lot with from your hand, really, which is the real shame. But what you have got is a very soft, and I mean a very soft lock on this, is your opponent can't access the extra deck. They will need to go to battle to destroy this. Now, Almirage won't protect from battle itself. Triggers target one monster you control, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects this turn. So again, you could trigger this to protect this from being destroyed by a card effect, but it's not really the greatest, because ultimately all they need to do is they can attack this. You could link the Almirage and the Nashta and go into your Seaguh, but even then the Seaguh isn't really going to get you much further. So yeah, this is a very soft lock, very, very soft lock, but we were able to kind of pull it off. I suppose we could do another test hand. There's no rush. Let's do another test hand going first and see how that one does, just to kind of reprise from the weaker one. But we still managed to get our goal. We still locked them out of the extra deck. Yes, all they need to do is normal or special monster, but it still eats up their battle phase. We still have emergency, we still have core, and we still got rev, so we still got like a lot of resource to kind of come back on. And keep in mind, we've already put machines in the graveyard, so all it takes is a successful play or a successful route into Power Bond, and it's going to be gained there anyway. So okay, so after another decent shuffle and a good old cut, we'll do one more going first, and then I'll start showing you the aggressive nature. So our bonus test hand will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, limit remover isn't great, but it is an option, which is really, really nice. So we still have an insane combo already, just by being able to go, right, emergency, search ourselves out a core, wherever he may be. There we go. There's our core. We're going to normal summon said core and use its effect. Now, if we want to be getting the Buster Lock, again, because we are going first, you do ideally want to be going for Realm. Horizon will also help you out, but it does put Chimera to the graveyard, which is something that you don't really want to do right now. So you can set your grave up for future plays, and I'll show you how we're going to do that in a minute. So we're going to activate Machine Do, target the core, bring out 2 Cyber Dragons from your deck, number 1 and number 2. Then what you want to do here is you want to put core in the graveyard by linking it into Almirage, just to make sure you've got a legal Cyber Dragon target in the grave. And then you're going to overlay your 2 Cyber Dragons and go into your Nova. Nova's effect will detach. You could bring back the core, but we're going to bring back the Cyber Dragon. And then you're going to go into Infinity to protect all future plays from this point on. You're then going to link your Almirage and Cyber Dragon, quite like the first test stand, into the Buster. The Buster will then trigger its effect to put into the graveyard your Dragon Buster. There we go. Now, the issue with the Horizon is you can't actually activate it now. You want to be saving it for the next turn because it locks you out for the entire turn of only going to machines. And sadly, this is a dragon, and obviously our Mirage is a Cyberse. So you're going to activate your Realm. Realm's effect is going to go off to let you add a Cyber Dark, and you want to go for Heal, Kill, or Edge. Effect for an additional normal summon gets you into Kill. Kill's effect will target and equip the Buster. Now, obviously, we haven't got as much of a defensive route as we did in the last one, but we still have the ability, if we want to absorb, and then our opponent still needs to get past Infinity to get to the battle phase. Now, an option you do have is you can set the limit to removal. If your opponent is trying to destroy this, you will lose your board, but keep in mind you have core in the graveyard, so it's not the end of the world. So what you're going to be doing here is, let's say we go for the suicide play. If they're trying to kill, keep in mind that you do have these two in hand and an additional normal off of the back of here. Is what you do is during a damage step, flip limit to removal. This becomes an absolute beast. This one then becomes a 24. So unless they've got a monster they can normal or special from the hand and not the extra deck that's going to be 24 or above, this isn't going to die. The end phase will then come, and that's where limit removal go, you know what, boom, goodbye guys. And you're like, yeah, I don't really mind that. So they're locked out of the extra deck. They've already burnt all their plays. It's not really a worry. So you draw for turn. You've got the spell you can discard off a Chimera, or you can activate the Horizon to set the graveyard up. Keeping in mind as well that you still have your Cyber Dragon core in the graveyard. That, if your opponent controls a monster and you know monsters, you can banish this card from the graveyard to special summon a Cyber Dragon monster from the deck. So it does allow you to summon itself. So keep in mind that as long as your opponent has a monster, which again, maybe they will, maybe they won't, you're only going to end up killing one monster. If they try to put two on board, then that is another option. But let's say they do, just so we can get this resolved. Even if they don't, to be honest, you're just going to go Chimera. And with Chimera, you're going to have plenty of machines in the graveyard for your Cyber Dragon play. So you've got two options. It's not the end of the world. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to bring out Core. Trigger Core's effect. Actually, no, sorry. You can only use one effect per turn, can't you? You can only use one Cyber Core effect. So yeah, we won't go for Core. We can go for anything else, really. Go for a Cyber Dragon, I suppose. Tell you what then, let's revert that. You can go for the Cyber Dragon, it's not the end of the world, so you still use Cause Effect. But I think in that particular case, what you want to do here is you can ditch the Claw to add you, doesn't really matter. But we're going to additional normal summon off the realm for the Chimera. Chimera's effect will ditch the Horizon to then allow you to add a Power Bond. You can then ditch Claw, and by ditching Claw you get to add a Cyber spell or trap, or specifically a Cyber Dark. That's where you go with Horizon, but you need to save that for your next turn because you don't have another in the hand to discard. Ultimately, what you do have, though, is you do have access to your entire graveyard. So just for the Cyber Dragons, you only need 2 machine Cyber Dragons for your OTK. So Power Bond, there you go, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. There is your Rampage. Rampage will then deal with the back row, good to go. Alternatively, if you wanted to be incredibly spicy and go for an 8k one punch let's go, you can go for End Dragon because you do have 2 Cyber Dragons and a Cyber Dragon core, all counted as Cyber Dragon in the grave. So you've got your options to play through there. The idea of this particular test hand was to show you that we can go first with this build, and it's going to be very difficult for your opponent to consistently break the Buster Lock. Like I said, in order to break the Buster Lock on a couple of times, is they will need 2 monsters that can be summoned, and even if they do, you can still trigger the trap during the battle phase to re-equip and boost. So I wouldn't worry about that at all. Anyway, after another decent shuffle, it's time to go second. It's time to unlock the OTK potential of Cyber Dragon. So after a decent shuffle and a good old cut, our opening hand of 6 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, that's the best OTK hand if ever I did see it. You've got everything. Absolutely everything. So you can bait out some negates with this. If your opponent's got an Appaloosa, you just go special summon Cyber Dragon, contact fuse with the Cyber Dragon, and let's get ourselves a Mega Fleet. Straight away, you've dealt with a 3 negate Appaloosa. The only thing you might worry about is they might use their double Dragonors to bounce the Cyber Dragon, which again is fine, because you just go Emergency. Emergency will then search you your core, summon the core, activate the effect. Appaloosa probably goes no effect, and then their opponent will then need to bring out the Shurag to banish it. If they do all of that, you still have Power Bond, you still have Limiter Removal, you still have Realm, you still have your Cyber Dark as well to give you into a second Power Bond, because, you know, you can only get the effect of Power Bond is not a once per turn. So absolutely busted. So we'll go that they can't stop this. So contact fuse into Mega Fleet, activate emergency, get yourself a core. You can also bring back a Monster Reborn as well. But we're going for out and out aggression. So we're going to normal summon our core. Core will then trigger, and core can give us, what would we like? I can just go into machines, to be honest. So I don't need Chimera. I've already got the Power Bond. So let's go with Horizon. Let's show you what Horizon can do. So activate Horizon, you get to send a machine from the hand and then one of a different attribute from the deck. So we're going to send our hers, because hers will let us trigger as well. And then what you get to do is you get to add a dragon or machine cyber monster from the deck. So let's add cannon, because I'm going for the boss monsters really. So I'm just going to put everything I can in the graveyard. You then get to send one from your extra deck to the graveyard. So let's put Cyber Dark Dragon into the graveyard. Discard the core, the cannon. Cannon will then let you add a horn. And ideally what you're doing is you're just building up your machines at this particular point. Hers will trigger as well to let you add a Cyber Dragon. So add that to the hand as well. Even more free fodder, which is what we like. So that can then go to the grave. You can activate Realm. Realm will then let you add anything you want. So you can add a claw if you want to. You can use the effect to normal summon the claw, but you can probably discard it to add you a Cyber Dark spell. Really doesn't matter at this moment in time. We're pretty much going for OTK anyway. So you've rebuilt your entire hand. It's up to you what you want to do. Let's use the additional normal summon to get to claw. It is a dragon. It's not a machine, so it's not going to get bumped by limit removal, which means it's not going to go anywhere. But what we do have in the graveyard is we do have, at current, we have 2 Cyber Dragons is all we need. So we've got hers and that. That gives you OTK with your Rampage. You've also got the ability of adding 2 more machines to that. So you can go into more generic stuff. You also have a Cyber Dragon in the hand. So if you wanted to, you have access to your, wherever he is, Cyber End Dragon, which would be 8,000 attack. And then you're going to boost it up to 1,600, which is disgusting. And you can also go into your Twin Dragon, which will give you 2 attacks. So it depends if your opponent's got multiple monsters. Or if you want to go that one step further, you can also just go into Rampage. And Rampage will be a 4,200 monster, and it's going to be able to go from there. Keep in mind that in order to trigger the Power Bond effect completely, that's might be where you need your Chimera. So you need to kind of rein that back a little bit. But you still have 2 Cyber Dragon monsters in effect. So that specifically needs 2 Cyber Dragon, that needs 2 Cyber Dragons. But you would have had Cyber Dragon caught on the board, and you'd have Cyber Dragon in the hand. So you still got those 2 as well, and you just get to go from there. So that is a near enough guaranteed OTK. Like when you open up limit removal, Power Bond, and the access to use Power Bond from field or grave, and a Cyber Dragon to deal with an Appaloosa, oh, that is game over for your opponent, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's do our final test and go in second. And again, we're going to try and repeat an OTK and try and play through as many disrupts as our opponent has. So after another decent shuffle and our final cut, 1, 2, 3. Our go second OTK will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, still a very good hand. Now, the Buster Dragon is a bit of a disappointment, and that's where the weakness comes into that particular engine, is when you go second, it's a card you really don't want to see. However, with this particular hand, we've actually got a lot to do. So if your opponent has an Appaloosa or anything, or even a double Dragon Lords, I would actually imperm the double Dragon Lords, turn that off, special summon down the Cyber Dragon to then get rid of the Appaloosa. Now, obviously, that would then force them to trigger the Revolt, which would banish the Cyber Dragon, which isn't the end of the world, because again, you've got the normal summon of the hers, or you've got the ability for an additional normal summon off the back of this, and you've got Claw that will get you into Horizon, which again is absolutely fine, because you can use Horizon to send the Buster Sword, I believe, from your hand to the grave, so you've still got plays. Anyway, special summon the Cyber Dragon, link or contact fuse into your Mega Fleet. There we go, that deals with one issue that you may be facing. Activate the Realm will then let you add, and we will go, because we're going for the OTK, we will go for Chimera. Now you do need a spell and trap in the hand, so what you want to do here is you want to use Claw's effect to get you said spell or trap, and like I said, the Horizon will be your best way of getting the buster to the board, setting up your graveyard. But you won't have the ability to get into a power bond, so that's where you need to think a step ahead. Keep in mind you still have the ability to go normal summon Cyber Dragon hers, nice. And then what you want to do here is use the effect of Realm, additional normal summon of Chimera. Chimera's effect, ditch the said spell or trap, add yourself a power bond that is going to let you fuse from the graveyard. At this point, if you want to get a Cyber Dragon to the hand, you link these two together, or you could generally just link the hers off on its own, but we're going to be a little bit greedy and we're going to go into a Seeger. This will then trigger hers' effect, and it will also trigger the Chimera's effect. So Chimera's effect will send a Cyber Dark, so we're just going to send Edge, and hers will add you a Cyber Dragon. So now you've got the power bomb play. So at the base minimum, you've got 2 Cyber Dragons in the graveyard at the very least. That is going to get you into your Rampage. And it's pretty much all you need. So you activate the power bond, you banish your hers, and you banish the Cyber Dragon. If you wanted to, you could banish the Cyber Dragon from the hand, and that would get you into your Cyber End Dragon. But at least with Rampage, you can deal with back row as well. And again, you've gone wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You still maintain these in the hand. Should something drastic go wrong, you've got easy discard fodder and you've got free special summon. But you've pretty much cleared off what you need to. And this is going to one-shot your opponent no matter what you do. It's too strong to have Power Bomb do that for you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is that. So, like I said, to upgrade this deck's consistency, to upgrade this deck's power, in general, you want to be looking at stuff like Galaxy Soldiers. They are expensive. They're like £18 a copy here in the UK. You want to be looking at stuff like Dragoons, Vertes, the whole 9 yards on that particular engine. But then if you're looking for consistency upgrades, you've got Prosperities, you've got the generic staple stuff, you've got additional hand traps. However, as you've seen in these test stands, this can very nicely produce a not broken first turn board, but it's still a very good solid first turn board to help get you through to your second turn for an easy OTK, and it can also produce a very consistent power play of an OTK move. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, guys, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.